Hello, everybody. Okay, I'm just checking a few settings and I think we are good to go. Okay, so let me just check here. See who's joining us. Okay, so welcome to our last Q&A for neurofeedback experts for our spring/summer launch. So this is exciting because we're wrapping up. I've had a lot of emails this week, not necessarily questions, but people looking for us to provide them with some support. So of course, that is what we are here to do. Hang on a second, just checking one more thing here. Okay, so of course that's what we are here to do, but I want to reiterate a few things so that everybody can wrap their mind around it in terms of the support that we are offering you. When you join our program, this is a skill building program. And obviously you know that because you are working hard to figure all this stuff out and to build the skills. So last night I had something urgent pop up. So I recorded last night's headache and migraine webinar just before it was supposed to go live, and I sent the link to people. But I want to clarify a few things about the monthly webinars versus our 4 quarterly big webinars, and I'm going to start there. So remember that, and I'm going to talk about support. I'm going to go back to that idea. So remember that our Q&A box is open, so you can stop me at any time or put a question in and I'd be happy to answer it. So please do that at any time. But let's think about these webinars first and foremost, because this is really important stuff. So if you have recently joined our Neurofeedback Expert Program, don't worry about my monthly webinars on niche topics. Now, I know you probably are going to want to, because that's how I would slant also, but it is really important for you to be able to stay focused on your 4 big seasonal launches across the year. So, and I wanted to tell you that I backed up, I made it earlier. The back to school webinar is now August 12th. It is on Eventbrite, and you can look on Eventbrite, and we're on July 1st. We are going to send out a reminder for everyone and the link so you have it nice and early for the back to school webinar on August 12th. So you need to stay focused on your 4 seasonal launches so that you fill that webinar with as many people as possible, so that you can then convert in one fell swoop as many people as possible for your fall program. So once you have your 4 seasonal launches totally flowing and just operating with minimal brain power on your part and minimal effort on your team's part, then you can add monthly niche webinars. And I have to admit, it's even getting away a little bit for me, because so many people in the Neurofeedback Expert Program have been wanting support for these monthly webinars that it is spreading me and my team thin, which is the second part of the conversation that we're going to have. Because if you put all your eggs in 4 baskets, you will then reap more rewards than if you spread your efforts out on the other 8 webinars across the year. So just trust me on this. Think seasonal launches until you've got them down. So hopefully you're with me on that. And I'm going to tell you why. In the Neurofeedback Expert course, in the Neurofeedback Express Lane for Marketing, there are all the strategies and everything that you need to do to be able to launch the webinar yourself 4 times quarterly. And this goes back to the skill building piece, because you need to know how to launch the webinar. Even if you're sponsoring my webinar, you need to be able to do that entire thing independently in the end, so that you are doing it yourself. You're capturing all of your people's emails. You're sending them the link so that they can join the webinar. and you are following up with them yourself. So originally, a long time ago, as a courtesy, we sent the emails to a few of you, of the neurofeedback experts, emails, and it's so confusing for everybody because now I have all of your patients' emails that I don't need, nor do I even want. You need them, you want them, you need to keep them organized, keep them somewhere safe so that not only can you send them the link so they join the webinar, after the webinar, you send a follow-up email offering some amount of money off your baseline evaluation, whether that be acute EEG brain map if you offer brain maps, or the swindle method in trying to be able to offer a baseline using a system that doesn't offer acute EEG brain map. You can offer them some amount of money or a bonus so that you encourage them to sign up after the webinar. I can tell you more about that in just a minute. Let's just focus on these seasonal launches for a second. So use the tools in the Express Lane to post your own Eventbrite event. That is a way that if you do that now, soon, you will be able to start getting people's emails so that you can either send them weekly or bi-weekly or monthly emails in the short run, but you can definitely send them reminders about the webinar and then an offer after it. So stick with the quarterly launches. Get yourself ready right now for the back to school program. So next month, my webinar is on summer brain versus semester brain. And you're welcome to join me for that. And if you really want to invite people to that one, you can. It's about the benefits of training in the summer versus across the academic year. And on Eventbrite, I posted it as ADHD, summer with ADHD and anxiety, so that I can try to optimize it for people being able to join that event. But that's really just a setup for me to set people up to think about the back to school program. So if it becomes confusing for you, don't put a lot of effort into that. Start putting the effort into the back to school program for the fall. Get yourself posters or postcards, send letters to doctors, letting them know that you are hosting this event on August 12th. Get your ducks in a row and try to get as many people signed up for the fall webinar so that you can do the fall seasonal launch. So hopefully that is making sense to you, because if you do this 4 times a year, the months won't creep up on you as fast as they tend to do when you're trying to do a monthly launch. Once the 4 are running super smooth, then you can pick and choose, and this is what it's designed in the monthly group coaching. So for all of you, and I'm going to explain it to everybody just so those of you who have joined understand it, and if you're new to it, you understand it even more. Those of you who might be interested can understand it also. So monthly group coaching is a doctor webinar on the brain pattern that is associated. So for example, we just got done, last night was the headache and migraine webinar. A month ago, I did the headache and migraine webinar for practitioners. The practitioners learn what brain patterns are associated with headaches and migraines. I give you research studies to support those brain patterns as the underlying cause. And as you know, that's designed to build confidence and to put tools in your toolbox so that when people come in to see you with headaches and migraines, you know exactly the scientific brain pattern that is associated with headaches. Then I share with you the protocols, globally speaking, that are proven to help headaches and migraines. And for example, I gave you in the headaches and migraines one study that proves that 54% of people had total cessation, total stopping of all their headache symptoms. That's huge. When you know that neurofeedback actually can help, then you have a sense of how you can go about helping the person. You want to do your baseline eval, but you have a sense of how you can help them based upon science. So that is what the doctor webinar is. And once you have your mind wrapped around that, and if that is a niche that you care about and is important to you, then you can offer your patients to join that webinar, and you can sponsor the monthly webinars too. So even in group coaching, we will not put the emails into our email system for you. We will send you the Zoom link. And I know there was a system error this past month so that the Zoom link went out really late, or I don't even know. I think it was a major hiccup, but that won't happen. We're going to be sending the Zoom link out on the first of the month for everybody in group coaching. So you will have that Zoom link every month on the first of the month so that you can invite people. If you're not in group coaching, you can look for the event on Eventbrite by putting in my name and sign yourself up. And once you get the link, you can share the link with your patients for the patient webinar. So that's easy for you to do if you'd like to join the patient webinar. If you're in group coaching, you can attend the group coaching webinar live, and it is recorded and put in the group coaching course for you. So you know how you have your login to Rizuku for the Neurofeedback Expert Large course. There's another login for group coaching if you choose to join it, and you can log into that course, and all the recordings are there for you. All the slides are there for you to use. All of the scientific articles are there for you to use, and links that you can share with your patients for pop science, as I call it. But for everybody, we cannot take your emails. It's just too many emails because there's too many people and too many attendees and invitees involved that we can't do that. So, and you need to learn how to do that. So you get really smooth at doing it quarterly. Then you can venture into some of these months if you're excited about it. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. I'm going to look in the Q&A, see if we have any questions. No questions yet, so I'm going to keep going on this regard. Let me think what my other thoughts were. So, for example, when it comes to the fall launch, I've already taken out ads. I've created ads for my fall program because we do print ads. And I have not gotten the proof yet back, but once I get the proof back, I will put it into the Neurofeedback Expert course for you to be able to see. So I've put that in to be created so that I have a print ad that will funnel people to my website. If you should have a landing page that's created, and we've talked about landing pages before, so that you can put things in print, or you can make postcards, or you can even just print them on paper for your own clients if you'd like. If you're a therapist and you have clients in your therapy practice, you can just print it on your printer if you don't want to invest in Vistaprint, and invite people to the Back to School with ADHD and Anxiety webinar if that serves them. So remember, when we talk about ADHD and anxiety, it seems like it's just for kids, but it's not. It's for adults also. So a lot of times when kids go back to school, if people have children, that's an excellent time. We've had this happen lots, where adults will join us for the fall program because their kids are back in school and they have more time to be able to come in. So you can cater that to whoever your avatar is, as long as it's ADHD and anxiety. And I would recommend you starting there anyways, as you know. So think fall launch. Okay, so hopefully you understand that you're going to spend the next 2 months, month and a half, getting people to come to the webinar or doing your own workshop using the Neurofeedback Express Lane in the Neurofeedback Expert course to be able to get you there. So it has the information on Facebook boosts to demographics, if that's something you're interested in doing, using Eventbrite and being able to build community awareness with community partners, as we always talk about. Once the back to school webinar is done, immediately you send an offer to the people. You can either do the people who attended, or you can do the people who signed up. For sake of ease, just do it to all the people who signed up, send them the offer. Some of them will take you up on. Then you start your fall program. Get your people in care, get everybody rolling, and as soon as you're feeling comfortable, you start getting ready for the winter program launch. So if you remember how we do it, in October, it's ADHD Awareness Month. And in November and early December, we do holiday social anxiety, and we talk about overdrive and busyness of the holidays. It's a perfect time to talk about the theme because people are busier than ever. Then we launch our winter program that starts the second week of January, using those couple months to prep for that, hitting the triggers that are important to people. That's how you should be thinking for now, instead of worrying about trying to get 1 or 2 people into all the webinars, unless you know you have a patient who has headaches. Then you invite them to my webinar, and it's really no big deal because it's only 1 person, and you share the link. So hopefully you're following me. So then we do the winter program launch. You get your people after the webinar. You get the 2 webinars because there's the bonus one, October and early December. You send October's ADHD, early December anxiety. You send the people who've signed up for them the offer off of your baseline evaluation, get people signed up for January, get people settled in, get your program rolling, and then get ready to launch the spring program in the same fashion. So first, get a hold of the 4 times a year, like is in the Neurofeedback Expert main course. Then you can worry about the niche clientele on the opposite months. It's a big job just to get the 4 seasonal launches rolling. Once you've got them going, you'll be in good shape, and you can add the niche months that make sense for you. Okay, so let me think here, and I'm looking to see if we have any questions. No questions yet. Okay, so in some updates to what Christina and I have been doing, Christina has put, or she's in the middle of doing it right now, is putting our decision guide that we use into the Neurofeedback Expert course, because that is now a major feature that we use when people email us. There's 1 email to respond to people. We are purposely not putting a drip sequence of emails into the Neurofeedback Expert course. That's a big deal. It's a lot of work. It takes a lot of organization. If you want to do that, you can, there's courses actually you can take on how to create funnels or drip sequences, but we don't offer support in creating the drip sequence. We give you an email to follow up with people, and that can be adequate. We're trying to keep this course to be the first steps that you need all along the way to get your office rolling without confusing the matter and, you know, adding tons of other stuff, because of course there's layers of things that you can do. They all involve more work and more money. And to be able to have a successful neurofeedback practice, you don't even need to make those investments. You can if you want, but it's not entirely necessary. So that is a huge message. I want to be able to tell people, if you want to do those things, go for it. Take a training, and that's how I am. I take a training on everything, and I try to incorporate lots of things. But I was actually going to tell you, thinking about I'm going to look in my phone while I am telling you this, because I forget the author, and because I love books. Anybody who knows me knows that I devour books. So the book is called, it's by Gary Keller. So from Keller Williams, I believe it is. He is in the realty business. He wrote a book that's called The One Thing. And it's I can't read the subtext, the surprisingly simple truth behind extraordinary results. So it's called The One Thing by Gary Keller. And the premise of the book is you need to focus on one thing at a time. And if you spread yourself too thin, nothing gets done well. Everything gets done shoddy. And the one thing doesn't get done well. So right now, for most of you who are in the Neurofeedback Expert course, the one thing that you need to focus on is the launches, not the monthly webinars. It will confuse things. Get a handle on the fall back to school launch, and then you will have practiced it for the winter launch. Then the spring launch will be even easier. So you can see what I'm saying there. Okay, so another thing, which is a springboard, and we're sending you this information in an email also at the beginning of the month, because we'll be sending you monthly updates. And I always send, if you don't get them, look in your spam, because it might be going to spam. Look for emails from me about my blog post. So let me see. Okay, great. So got a comment that, and actually people have called me and told me the same thing, that It's very overwhelming. Thank you for the comment. I totally appreciate it, because it is so overwhelming with all the information that you take in. And actually, I'm not sure, one of the doctors I work with, I don't think he's on right now, but hopefully he'll watch this video, emailed me, I got to take a break from the videos because I'm totally overwhelmed. And I'm like, absolutely. That's why I created the express lanes. So take your time moving through the content. That's why I timed it also. I know people don't like the timing feature. This is a huge course. It's huge. If you've ever taken any other courses, this course is absolutely huge. It has a ton of value, but it's a marathon. It is not a sprint. You need to take your time understanding that you are setting yourself up for long-term success. When you do that, it takes time. So give yourself the time and do one thing at a time. And that's why the Neurofeedback Express Lane for Marketing focuses on the quarterly launches, because that is where it is at. That's the one thing that you need to do to draw people to your office while you're also smoothing out all of your office systems. And I talk with most of you a lot because I'm here to help you. And the number one thing that will really help you is taking the time to get all of these office systems in place so that you're ready to roll when you attract people to you. More than half of your job is giving them an awesome experience once they've signed on for care. So not only do they stay in care, they refer others. That's how you build a bigger and bigger and bigger practice over time. And that's what we're talking about. It's not one and done. We're not throwing an ad out, hoping somebody comes in this month. And honestly, if you will consistently do your launches, remember, it's called a launch echo. Even if nobody signs up for your fall program, those people are still interested. Unless they tell you to stop sending them emails, they either are ambivalent, they don't really care, and that doesn't hurt you, or they're still interested and they may join you in the winter. So when people don't sign up for my program, but I see they're reading the emails, or I know that they are still interested, I know that they might come in the winter, or they might come in next spring, or they might come in next summer. That is how it works. It takes time. Okay, so don't get overwhelmed. Chunk it back down to action steps. And I'm just going to tell you one more time. I know I said it a couple times right now. Your action steps right now are to put the event on Eventbrite for August 12th. And look mine up if you are not in Neurofeedback group coaching. Look it up. It's there already. Actually, a bunch of people have already signed up for the August 12th webinar. You can copy and paste my text to put it right into your event and tweak it a little so that you're sponsoring that. Easy peasy. Just go look it up and put it there. And we'll try to get to that text today too, because I started to do that. We'll just get to the link for that text so that you have the link and you're ready to roll. Then make posters or postcards, or just print them on your printer. Send them to, you know how I feel, one low-hanging fruit a day. You send an email with the information about this webinar, one person a day. It can be community partners like other therapists, doctors, therapy agencies, schools. School's out of session, but you could still send it for counselors. A lot of times counselors still work in the summer. So identify your community partners and send them the information, because people will sign up. And those are your action steps. Then when you get the emails that go into Eventbrite, look at them. You'll get an email when you set up Eventbrite. You'll get an email every time someone registered for your event. You'll have all their emails organized in Eventbrite where you can just copy them and paste them into an Excel spreadsheet if you know how to do that, or you just put them right into Gmail if you're using Gmail. One thing I want to remind you, if you're using Gmail, because it's actually, I did it once and I was not pleased with myself, but it was a long time ago. I've since learned. Make sure you blind CC everybody. Do not send an email if you're using Gmail to that whole list where everybody can see everybody else's emails, because that's not cool. I actually just got one. My daughter is at a vocal summit, and I got an email from this huge school. It's a very popular school, and I could see everybody else's email on there, and they could see mine. And not that it's HIPAA or anything, it's just not cool. You don't want to send other people's emails out. So get rolling for back to school. And in your mind, start thinking back to school. Okay, so this is what I was going to say, that today's blog post that I'll be sending out to you all, look in your spam if it's not on top. And you might not care about my blog post, but I am going to tell you why you should. And so today's, I just wrote about social anxiety and using a story that is hopefully interesting. Then it's from a few nights ago, but it's a story, and stories sell. So that's why I try to tell stories about my own life or about my patient's life in the blog post. It's very deliberate. It's not just me, creating a space to talk about myself. It's very deliberate. So I talk about social anxiety and a pertinent time where that occurred. I talk about the brain pattern that is associated with social anxiety. So there's a story. Then I give tips. The tips are for your patients. So I send all of my patients to my blog post, and they love it. People in my office parents have asked to have their teenage kids signed up to get the blog post. People email me back saying how much they like it. So you can either just send your patients or your clients directly to my blog post, or you can repurpose my content and make your own story and send out the tips in your own way, which is obviously more work. But again, if you're building that could be a good thing. So anyways, then in the blog post, it's a story, tips for patients. Then at the bottom, it says for neurofeedback experts. So then there's a paragraph on the science behind the brain pattern that causes social anxiety. Then it talks about protocols that would be appropriate. And of course, it's generalized, but if you read these blog posts every week when we send them out, first of all, you're going to have an arsenal of brain health education tools that you'll begin to just tell people about accidentally because you've read it, even if you don't share it with them. And you'll also keep reading about brain patterns, and you will also keep reading about protocols, which will be very, very important to you. And it's totally pertinent no matter what system you use. It's not system specific at all, just so you know. So you can read that, hopefully enjoy it. Then when I do the webinars for patients, like the headache and migraine one that I did yesterday, I put that video at the bottom of the blog post that's associated with that topic. And I've figured it out that we're going to do this in a better way in upcoming blog posts. I'm going to hold off on the blog post until the video is done and then send it out to you all. So the video is there, and that should help you out too. So the idea is now on the headache and migraine blog post, the video from last night is there. So you can send your people directly to that blog post for tips. Of course, in the neurofeedback expert section, it is designed to help you, but it's also designed to frame neurofeedback as the #1 solution for people for social anxiety. And if you know me, you know that I believe that. So if there's a subtitle that says, does neurofeedback work? And the answer is yes, it works. And here's the scientific article to prove it, that 54% of patients got totally better, and every patient had increases in feeling and performing better. That's powerful. So it's designed to also let people know that neurofeedback works. So it's in one spot on the blog post for you all to read and share if you would like. And you can just share it by email with the link to the blog post. It makes it super easy for you to share. So hopefully that's going to be another easy thing. So if you have not been looking at those blog posts, please read them. Just read them quick and see if you're interested in that. And then another thing is, you should be getting them because we have a list of all the neurofeedback expert affiliates. Some people think they're not getting them. They're probably in spam. So please look in spam, and if you really can't find them, call us, because we've already done this with a few of you, that we'll look to see if they were sent out and if they were delivered. We could tell if they're delivered, and they're always delivered. They're probably just in spam. So just look for the next one on July 1st because it's set already to go out with the update on July 1st, and I'm going to send the blog post out today. Okay, so That's a lot of covering a lot of things. Anybody have any thoughts or questions before I wrap up? Get focused on fall. Don't even have to worry about summer brain versus semester brain. Join me so that you have the information if you're not in group coaching, because I think it's super cool. So go to my Eventbrite event and join me. Just look up Dr. Trish Leigh, ADHD, and it should pop up for you. And join me at that event, and you can invite your clients also. Okay, so if not, this is our last Q&A, but of course we're always happy to help. So just let us know, but remember to go back to the Neurofeedback Expert course, take your time with all that content, and go visit, when you get done with the content and you're feeling pretty good about it, visit the Express Lanes. It will remind you how to market, and it will remind you how to set up your office systems. Okay, hope you all have an awesome day. And I really want us to get focused on rocking out the fall, because this could be a game changer for you. And if you only get a couple clients at the dollar amounts that we recommend in the program, the whole Neurofeedback Expert program will have a huge return on investment for you. So you know how that goes. Like I keep telling my husband, it only works if you work it. This is skill building. At the end of taking in all this information, you are going to have a new marketing skill set and office system skill set that is going to serve you for the rest of your life in your practice. So remember that. I know it's overwhelming. Just stay focused. Have fun with it. I think I probably told you, and I promise I'll wrap up now, but I probably told you that I have a friend who's just killing it in her own business, having nothing to do with brain-based. She sells cleaning products, actually, and she is just killing it. She keeps winning trips to Hawaii and trips all over the world because she's just doing an awesome job. And the thing that she has said to us in the past is she just treats it like a game. And I do that too. I try to treat all of my business adventures, and I try to treat my life with my crazy children and my relationship building with my husband. I treat it all like a game. Just have fun with it. If you have fun with it, remember what happens. Your brain will stay in alpha and low beta. When you stay in alpha and low beta, it will come to you. When you are in high beta and you're stressed out about it and you're chasing it down, you have to remember that high beta is like a shield out in front of you. The more you chase it, you're literally pushing it away with your energy. So you need to stay in the zone of calm focus, just like you're trying to teach your clients, for it to come to you. It literally works that way. So have fun with it, and it will come to you. Okay, have an awesome day, and I'll talk to you soon. Thanks. Oh, you know what? There's one more question, and if you're still, I know some of you are still there, with being totally new to neurofeedback, is there still enough time to get comfortable before September? Absolutely. And I know we're going to go over time just a minute or two, but I want to make sure that I answer this question. And thank you for the person who's asking questions, because I totally appreciate that. When people join us, they don't usually ask questions. So I love the questions. Thank you. Yes, and a lot of people that are on this call right now are new to neurofeedback. Entirely new to neurofeedback. So you are not alone. I want you to know that every single month people join me for neurofeedback experts that are totally brand new to neurofeedback. And this is what I tell them, and I want to make sure I tell all of you this. The reason I focus on ADHD and anxiety as your avatars in the neurofeedback expert program is to demystify that for you. And I'm sure you've probably heard me say before, you don't have to know everything about everything, but you do need to know enough about what you are trying to create. And for you, that's going to be ADHD and anxiety, or one or the other. So if you have niche clientele, you can totally go with your niche clientele, and you don't have to go ADHD or anxiety. But what I'm about to tell you still holds true. You want to pick only one or two things, and then you want to dive in a little. You don't even have to spend a ton of time. You want to dive in a little and figure out what the primary brain pattern would be that's associated with the challenge that you are trying to attract to yourself, that diagnosis, that avatar, your perfect ICA, your ideal customer avatar, and you want to see that person in your mind, you want to be able to know how to serve that one person to the best of your ability. So, for example, like I was just talking about anxiety and high beta pushing success away from you. If you are working with people and you're trying to attract people with anxiety to you, you need to understand anxiety comes from a high beta pattern. You need to be able to perform a baseline evaluation, no matter what your method, that you feel confident in, that you can say, yes, your brain is using too much high beta in this area, and the way that I'm going to help you is by decreasing your high beta and increasing your alpha or your SMR, which is that medium calm focused speed. So once you understand that your goal for every single one of your ideal customer avatars is to decrease high beta and increase alpha or SMR, then you just feel more confident. When you're more confident, you're in alpha and low beta, and you're going to attract those people to you. You're also going to be able to answer their questions. So when you attract that person to you and you're sitting in a meeting, you need to have some tools. And we give you all the paperwork, and I give you the look in the module on the, improving clinical outcomes for whichever category is closest to your avatar. Spend some time in there and understand how to do a great evaluation, and then how to be able to implement great therapy so that you can give the person the outcomes, and how to talk about anxiety in an easy way. That's all you need to know. And I know that's a lot, but you can totally do it. So you should have a go-to protocol. You should have your mind looking for the findings in the evaluation that you expect to see, and you should be able to go from there even if you're brand new. And so start attracting those people, and then you'll be able to draw them to you and be able to communicate with them. Okay, I hope that helps. I hope you have an awesome day, and I'll talk to you soon. Thanks.